So I do want to just make sure that you know that and that this is our time together. But today we're going to talk about estrogen dominance and what it does. Now, estrogen dominance is something that both men and women can deal with. We typically hear about it more with women, but I have plenty of men that I work with also that have estrogen dominance. So what exactly is estrogen dominance? Well, estrogen dominance is typically when there is an excess of estrogen and a decrease of progesterone. All right, so you have more estrogen than you have progesterone. There's 3 different types of estrogen dominance. First is, like I mentioned, just an overproduct or an imbalance between estrogen and progesterone. Then the second is an overproduction of estrogen. And we're going to talk about what can be some common things that help to overproduce estrogen in the body. And then the third is just a change in the way that estrogen is metabolized and excreted. And that can cause an estrogen dominance in the body as well. All right, so again, for men, for women, I see it in both, and we're going to dive into that. So again, tell me where you're listening from and if you've heard of estrogen dominance before, or maybe if you're experiencing any hormone-related symptoms at all. Just simply type yes into the comment box. And if you're listening and it's not Wednesday at noon, and you're listening another time, go ahead and still type your comments into the box, and then I will be able to come back in. I'll watch for those comments and answer them as we go. All right, so let's talk a little bit about what causes estrogen dominance, because I always say, how do you fight the enemy unless you understand the enemy, right? So the enemy in this case is estrogen dominance. We want to figure out what's going on in our body. And so let's dive into that. First of all, your diet. Take a look at your diet. Many foods can cause estrogen dominance. Processed foods, non-organic animal products, pesticides, soy. Soy is a phytoestrogen and it mimics estrogen, so it can cause too much estrogen. Food, for instance, if you're eating non-organic or you're not particular about your meats that you're eating, what you'll find is many meats can actually be injected with hormones. And which hormone is it? It's an estrogen producing hormone. And so if you're eating that meat, that's actually going to help or increase the estrogen in your body. Other things like refined carbs and grains, white rice, white potatoes, pastries, cakes, crackers, bagels, some of those, even cereals, breakfast cereals, that can all contribute to having an estrogen dominance issue in your body. Alcohol and caffeine. I know that breweries are really common right now. They've just popped up everywhere, and really along with breweries, just wineries, and I am not going to be hypocritical and say I don't enjoy going to those places. I do, but the key is moderation. If you're having more than one drink in an evening, you're probably having enough alcohol that can contribute to some estrogen issues or hormonal imbalances. All right. I want to pause a second. I want to say welcome to Tamra, listening from Eureka, Montana. We're glad you're here. And welcome to Ellie, listening from Iowa. Super glad you're here. So ladies, and all the rest of you that are listening, did you know that those types of foods could actually contribute to estrogen dominance? Any surprises of the things that I mentioned? All right. So the food that we eat can impact our hormone balance and cause us to have estrogen dominance. The second thing is environmental toxins and xenoestrogens. Okay, I already talked about soy, which is a xenoestrogen. But other things like plastics, right? Drinking out of plastic water bottles, using plastic food storage containers, personal care products, household cleaners. BPA is a really big deal, and it is a known endocrine disruptor. Yes, that's right, Ellie. Non-stick pans can be an endocrine disruptor as well. BPA is found in your plastic bottles. How about your cash register receipts? Get used to having them emailed or decline them. Really asking yourself, do you need that? Or if you do need it, wash your hands afterwards, because store receipts have BPA in them, which is an endocrine disruptor. Aluminum can lining. So if you're really used to using a lot of canned foods, I just want to caution you there, because that is a way that you can actually be contributing to this estrogen dominance as well. Parabens. Now, parabens are found in personal care products, in cosmetics. They can also be endocrine disruptors. So really looking for clean products, I actually just did it this morning. I'm looking for a hair mask, and I found one that somebody recommended to me, and before I purchased it, I went on to ewg.org and I typed in the ingredients to see where it lands on that scale. I'm okay with anything in the green, but beyond that, I'm not going to purchase it. And I would encourage you to get into that mode as well. So ewg.org. Utilize it. It's awesome. It helps you to have those clean products so you know you're not putting it into your body. All right, phthalates. Phthalates are found in food packaging, toys, like plastic toys, cosmetics, again, medical tubing, and all kinds of I think I mentioned it, food packaging and plastic. So really be cautious. Really think to yourself, does this have something in it? And I know you're still going to get caught off guard. I still do sometimes as well. Here's something you may not know. You think you might be doing something really healthy, and it could be contributing to some estrogen dominant issues, and that's using essential oils like tea tree and lavender. So be cautious, minimize those. I know that lavender is great for helping you to calm down and sleep, but everything in moderation once again. And tea tree oil is great for killing, antibacterial and killing molds and all of that, but everything in moderation. All right. Another one that you think you might not, or that you may not know, stevia, right? Stevia in large quantities can actually disrupt that hormone pathway. The third thing, lifestyle factors. Things like being in premenopause. Now, we talked about premenopause last week. We dove into perimenopause, premenopause, and menopause. But being in premenopause, right before you are officially in menopause, you can have hormones all over the place, and that's a common time to have estrogen dominance during that time. Excess weight. So that can that can be many of us out there as excess weight. So are you in a healthy weight range? And why does excess weight contribute to hormone or estrogen dominance? Because your fat cells hold on to those hormones, those estrogen hormones. So if you have an excess of fat cells, you have a potential of having an excess of estrogen. All right. Chronic stress raises that cortisol, and that causes a hormonal imbalance going on. More cortisol you have, the less progesterone you have. Therefore, the more estrogen that you're going to have. Okay, so chronic stress. And then a lack of movement or poor sleep habits, those all contribute to estrogen dominance. All right, I don't know, maybe I'm speaking your language, maybe you're going me, I get it. But there's things that we can do about that. Oh, Oh, hi, Matilda. You are watching from Ghana, West Africa. Wow, welcome. Welcome. It's good to have you here from West Africa. Okay, the fourth thing that we have to think about is birth control and hormone therapy. Okay, so there's medications that can affect your natural progesterone production, and birth control and some hormone therapy can be some of that. So be cautious. Look for other options if possible. All right. So let's talk a little bit about symptoms of estrogen dominance. Now, we've talked about things that cause it, but maybe you're like, well, okay, that's me, but I don't know if I actually have the symptoms of estrogen dominance. So let's dive into that just a little bit and start thinking about if you're struggling with any of these things. All right, so here's some physical symptoms. PMS, heavy or irregular periods, breast tenderness, bloating, weight gain around the hips and thighs, skin issues like acne or rashes. Those can all be signs of estrogen dominance. So, are you struggling with any of those things? How about mental and emotional symptoms? Anxiety, irritability, mood swings, insomnia, low energy levels. Those can also be and are very common symptoms of estrogen dominance. And then we also have other things like headaches, just difficulty sleeping, brain fog. Those as well can be symptoms and are common of estrogen dominance. So in the chat, go ahead and answer this question. If you're kind of playing along with me, which symptoms do you resonate with the most? Right? Feel free to share if you do, if you resonate with any of those symptoms. Okay, so I know for me, I struggled with heavy periods, cramps, breast tenderness, and PMS, like mood swings. So those are my big things when I was estrogen dominant. Okay, so if you want, go ahead and share. All right, so what are we going to do about it? Let's talk about, in our time remaining here, let's talk about what we can do, what you can do at home about estrogen dominance. So first is, the number one thing, look at what you're eating. You may need to make some dietary adjustments, all right? I see, Tamara, you put scalp acne. Yes, okay, thanks for sharing. Absolutely. All right, so what can you do at home? Let's talk about the diet, because sometimes it's the things that we're eating and putting into our body, and those are the things that we can change the easiest of everything. So I love green tea. Green tea is fantastic at helping to balance those hormones. Raspberries is a fruit that is wonderful to help balance your hormones. And rosemary. Rosemary is unique. It actually works within the liver and the liver enzymes to help metabolize or break down the estrogen that's going through the liver as part of being excreted out. So adding some rosemary into your cooking is a fantastic way to help balance those hormones. Eat whole foods. I can't say that enough. Eat whole foods with minimal packaging. So really think about that. Okay, how are your foods being packaged? Can you or are you better off just making some of those things from scratch at home? But eat whole foods. Increase your fiber intake. That helps to improve your estrogen metabolism. All right, so getting good fiber. And I'm not talking necessarily about the carbohydrate fiber. I'm talking about like your fruits and your veggie fiber, right? And since we're talking about veggies, let's talk about cruciferous vegetables. So a lot of times cruciferous vegetables are, people will say, well, what is that? Well, that's your broccoli, your cauliflower, your Brussels sprouts, your kale. Those are great. You can't hardly eat enough of them. If you've got some thyroid issues going on, which you may, if you've got some sex, some sex hormones imbalance going on, then it's best to steam those cruciferous vegetables as opposed to eat them raw. Or if you get bloated from those, you've got some imbalance, GI tract imbalance going on, steam those vegetables. That will help tremendously. And then healthy fats like omega-3s, walnuts, salmon, flaxseed, chia seed. If you happen to be a vegan, seaweed and algae are good omega-3s as well. So really making sure you're getting those omega-3s in your diet. That helps to balance out that estrogen. Julie, welcome. I see that you were just given progesterone with phytoestrogens. Is that good? I do have an ovarian cyst. Well, I would say no, probably. That's where that is an iffy one, phytoestrogen. So is it made with soy? If it's synthetic, it's made with soy, then I would say to stay away from that, okay? You can use wild yam is a really good progesterone. It's very natural, and I really like that one as well. So using some wild yam works very good. And you probably have, the ovarian cyst. Do you know the connection between parasites and cysts? There's a really huge connection there. You can Google it, actually, parasite and cyst, or you can look back in some of the things that I have talked about. But a lot of times, your cysts are actually parasites because the parasite is the foreign object, in this case, in your ovary, and the body is trying to get rid of it. So it builds up tissue around it and it creates a cyst. So if you've got one parasite there, you've probably got more parasites. And so you might want to consider doing a parasite cleanse. Okay, I was going to talk about the one coming up for next month over the full moon. But that's just a little addition there, Julie, for you. Tamara, you said you recently learned the tea bags we buy in the store have bad additives in the bag itself. Yes, I know. That's just awful, isn't it? You really have to search. You have to search for your tea bags and, non-bleached tea bags, or get loose leaf tea and then put that into your own little steep. But you got to make sure that it's organic, it's mold-free. It's really risky just to kind of buy a tea bag off the store shelf. Got to do your research, know where it's coming from. Okay. All right. Let's talk about exercise and weight management. That's another thing that you have a lot of control over. I know a lot of it is self-discipline, which can be super duper hard. It can also be very difficult with just a busy lifestyle to find time to exercise and to find time to just eat healthy. But I want to encourage you to really make it important, because that does make a huge impact and a huge difference in how your body is holding on to those estrogens. Okay? Bioidenticals, Tamara. I see it. Bioidenticals you take for menopause. I wish I would have known about parasites and ovarian cysts before I had a full hysterectomy. Me too, Tamara. I had a full hysterectomy when I was 37 years old because that's what I was told to do. Yeah, I hear you. But I will tell you that there is life after a hysterectomy, and you can get those hormones balanced. It's just a little bit harder. Okay. Bioidenticals you take for menopause. Yeah. There's a lot of stuff out there, Tamara. I would say, let's talk. I'll put a link in there for us to have a call together, and it would be worth it just to talk through what you're taking, so that we can make sure that you're taking something that is right on. I am all for bioidenticals, but I'm wanting to make sure that they are as natural as possible. Okay? And in your case, since you don't have a uterus, that would be it too. Julie, thank you. I'm 68. The cream I am using is all organic and use 1/8 for 3 weeks. My levels are all low for hormones, that if an 80-year-old woman, but still have more estrogen than progesterone. Thank you. Interesting about the parasites. I do have them. Yes. Yes, Julie. So hopefully, Julie, some of these things we're going through right now, you can look at your lifestyle and your dietary as well, and really ask the question of, is there something else that's causing that imbalance in hormones? And maybe you're not on the right natural cream, hormone replacement cream. Okay, I'll just put that out there. So I want to encourage you, Julie, as well. Maybe it would be worth your time to book a call, and we could just go through that and just make sure that you're on everything right. I will tell you, personally, my hormones were like that of an 80-year-old woman too. I can relate to that. A year ago, and I went through and totally did a great protocol. Just had my hormones tested last couple weeks ago, and they are beautiful, right in line with where I should be. So I do have some suggestions there, and what I'm sharing with you now is what I put into practical place this last year. All right, let's talk about detoxifying your environment, because your environment has a lot to do with those sneaky estrogens, either getting into your body or blocking the receptors that you do have. So you want to swap your personal care products for natural alternatives. Again, use that ewg.org. That is so good. I can also post a few other things in there, so when you're out and about, you can just use an app just to see where they lie as far as cleanliness goes. But really cleaning up your environment is huge, right? Huge. Again, a lot of people I know are switching to glass. It's all over. We see it all the time. You can walk into any store and see glass containers. But think about the other things that you're getting. Think about things like, what you're freezing your foods in, and what you're storing your foods in. And again, your personal care products, those play a huge factor. And finally, I want to talk to you about really supporting your liver. And this, Julie, is another area that could be a main cause, is if your drainage funnel is not open and those estrogen hormones are pooling inside because they cannot get out. The liver is a huge factor in that. If your liver is sluggish, and our livers do get sluggish, they get sluggish because we come into contact with toxins all the time. Medications can cause our livers to be sluggish. Mold. I don't know about where you're at exactly, but I will tell you, in our area we had a lot of flooding this summer. So there's a lot of mold around us. That causes the bile to be so sluggish. Parasites are another that can cause a sluggish liver. So if your liver is sluggish and it's not working optimally, you can have an excess of estrogen, all right? Creating that major hormonal imbalance. So I really encourage you to work with your liver, clean up your liver. Using supplements like DIM can also be helpful. However, somebody like yourself, Julie, who has 80-year-old metabolite or hormones, you're not going to want to use DIM. That would not be the correct thing for you. So really be cautious. I mean, DIM is good for a lot of people, especially if you have a lot of hormones and an imbalance of estrogen. DIM is great. But DIM is not great if you don't have hardly any and still have that imbalance. All right? So kind of keep that in mind. You might want to work with a naturopath or somebody that knows hormones. I know hormones, so I'll work with you if you want. But somebody that knows hormones. DIM is diindomethane, and it is a supplement that you can take, and it's basically like cruciferous vegetables on steroids, so more than you could imagine ever eating. And it helps to rechannel the estrogen down into the correct, and it mops up estrogen and rechannels it into the correct channels and helps get rid of the estrogen out of the body. Okay, so, but it is a supplement that you can take. And basically what it is, like I said, is it's like cruciferous vegetables on steroids. Okay, so it's, but it does support estrogen metabolism. Reduce your alcohol, that's a huge one. That's a really big one. Like I said, alcohol is just one of those things that is just really, really popular right now. And again, I'm not saying one glass isn't bad. One glass maybe is okay for you. But it's the people that are not stopping with just one glass and the people that are not listening to their body that one glass is even too much. All right. So you got to know what your body is telling you. So, and then reduce your caffeine intake. Caffeine boosts that cortisol. If you're living on caffeine all day long, you're not helping yourself. You really want to not live on caffeine all day long. 1 cup of coffee, okay. But all day long, not advised. All right, so what lifestyle change are you willing to make today? Share with me in the comments. What change do you feel that is maybe most important for you to make today? Can be a big change, a little change, anything, but go ahead and share. All right. All right, so I do want to remind you that I'm here for your questions. I loved the interaction so far. I hope that you have found some benefit so far. And if you want, let's meet one-on-one. Let's just talk through some of these deeper issues that are more personal to you and get you on the right path. I do also want to mention that the full moon parasite course is available. It is up and it is ready. And what it is that the full moon in November is when parasites are more active. So the full moon parasite cleanse actually happens 3 days before the full moon and 3 days after. So the deadline to register for the full moon parasite course is November 5. All right, so that's a couple weeks away. I really want to encourage you. What happens is that you receive the course and you receive all the supplements that you need when you register for that course. And then every single day you are walked through in detail some kind of information, lifestyle tips, helping you to learn more about parasites and how to avoid parasites, and just really educate you for 7 days. And so you run it yourself. During that 7-day period, you can ask me any question you want in a private chat area during that time. But I really encourage, it's very worth it for you to clean out your body and really get rid of those parasites. It is one that kind of just lets you know if you have a parasite issue. And then if you do find a lot of benefit from it, the next thing you might want to do is dive into a little bit bigger course. But this is the 7-day full moon parasite course is a really good place to start. All right. Well, thanks for joining me. Oh, Melissa, you asked how to register. I'll pop a link into the comments for you to register, and then you can take a look at it there. So that make it really simple for you. Okay. Thanks for joining me today. I always love these times together. I hope that you have a fantastic rest of your day. You are not alone in your health journey, whether you are just starting, you're in the middle of it, or you've been just really dealing with it for a long time. I'm here for you and however I can help you. I love doing what I do. I love helping people have vitality of life, have energy to do life, and to live their very best life. So that's for you. Have a great day, everybody. Bye.